Everyone, to day 2 of the 2015 Quad City Chaos Live at the Bunker in Downsview Park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm the Derby Nerd, joined by Mr. Whistler.
Good morning, everybody.
And we are about to call the second of 3 B-Team regulation games on the weekend.
That's right. The Bay Street Bruisers are in white and gold for this game. The Boston Bee Party is in blue. Bruisers will be playing again today at 3 p.m. against Steel City's Steel Beamers. That will also be here on layer9.ca.
The Bay Street Bruisers won their only game of the day yesterday, a big one over 253 to 144 over the Rideau Valley Sirens, and we are underway right away here. First game of day 2 of the 2015 Quad City Chaos, and it's going to start off with a power jam opportunity for the hosts, Bruisers, again in the white and gold. Number 213, Sleeper Hold, is jamming for the host team.
And that's right, LL Cool Jam for the Bee Party, picking up a track-cutting penalty on her initial pass. So Sleeper is the lead jammer, and she's completed her initial. Teams are resetting on the far straightaway.
This is the first time the B teams from these two leagues have played each other. The Bee Party does have a long history in Canada, the long sort of rivalry with Montreal. Sleeper Hold now coming around, trying to make her first scoring pass. The Bruisers undefeated here in the Quad City Chaos so far.
Get your kicks coming in to dismantle that Boston triangle. Sleeper coming around turn 2 on the inside, gets through, and that's good for 5 big roller derby points.
Power jam is over, the nice penalty kill from the Bee Party here early on Sunday morning in the bunker. Jammer back on the track. She has finished her initial pass, and she is able to score now as well, and it looks like a back block picked up by Sleeper Hold. That will shift the tides of momentum here. Power jam now opportunity for the Bee Party to get right back in this game.
Yeah, LL Cool Jam now trying to get around at turn 3. She's drawn back, has to reset. Comes around the outside. Tushy Galore just misses her, and that's good for 5 points for the Bee Party. First lead change of the game coming, I do believe.
Nice penalty killing by both of these teams early on. They've obviously had their coffee so far this morning and both awake. Nice clean pass for LL Cool Jam. Gets through for 5 more.
Sleeper Hold returning from the penalty box. Boston dropping a bridge, making her go back as far as possible. LL Cool Jam, though, still in the pack. How many points does she get on this final pass? Waiting for the jammer refs to confer. Code Adam putting up 4 points. So a 14-point jam for the Bee Party. They draw first blood 14-5 after 1.
Nice start for both packs here. Jammer troubles, though, early on. Each team picking up a jammer penalty on that one. Our second jam of this game is about to get underway. Some slight variations. We'll try to get to the rosters some point this half, but some slight variations for the Bruisers over yesterday's roster. And we'll try and update you as the game goes on. Senora Slaughter now jamming for the Bee Party.
It looks like Beaver Mansbridge wearing the star for the Bruisers.
Nice scrappy start to this one. Both packs moving through turn 2 and now into the second straightaway. Neither jammer able to get through so far. Finally, Boston gets through and picks up second straight lead jammer status. Sleeper Hold ended up getting lead jammer status on that last jam because of the penalty. So Senora Slaughter with the lead jammer status now for the Bee Party.
Beaver Mansbridge being swarmed over at turn 4. One of the Boston blockers peeled off for a penalty. Bruisers setting up a bridge, waiting for Senora Slaughter, taking her out of bounds, but Honey Boom Boom goes out of bounds as well.
It'll be a no pass, no point. So 4 points. Oh no, a cutting major now, a cutting penalty assessed to Senora Slaughter. Power jam opportunity for the Bruisers. So maybe these teams not quite as awake as we initially thought so far this morning. Penalty troubles early on for both teams.
Well, they may also be picking up from where everybody left off in the B team game yesterday,
yes.
Where the Bruisers game against the Sirens featured 108 penalties.
Yeah, 61 of which went to the Bruisers, despite the fact that they managed to win that game quite handily. Beaver Mansbridge now approaching turn 1 on this power jam. Nice inside-out sweep, perhaps not well timed from the Bruisers, just a little early. Beaver now forced to reset on the outside, gets stopped. Trying to power her way through the middle now. Very effective and physical jammer, and not afraid to push through those 2 walls.
Neurotic tendency. A great job there holding back Beaver. Does pick up a penalty, though. I believe that was the direction of gameplay, and she's on her way to the penalty box. But again, that's sometimes one of those penalties where it's worth it if you inhibit the jammer just enough.
Beaver Mansbridge trying to get some offensive foul from Honey Boom Boom, and instead Honey Boom Boom ends up picking up the star. She's trying to put it on now as she gets through the pack and is able to muscle her way through on the inside, picking up 5 points to the 4 for Senora Slaughter, who popped out of the penalty box at the end of that jam.
So we kind of try to quickly throw you the Bruiser roster for this game. 007 Tushy Galore, 138 Devachka, 1618 Moose Knuckles, 213 Sleeper Hold, 25 Lexicon, 333 Monster Muffin, 34 Robert Blind, 422 Beaver Mansbridge, 467 Hannibal, 483 Low Blow Palooza, 525 So What, 55 Joss Whelan, 56 Honey Boom Boom, and 76 Getcha Kicks.
Well done. On the jam line now for the Bruisers, number 138 in the white is Devachka, and it's number 60 Katrina Swerko for the B party, but it is Devachka getting through as lead jammer. The only jammer, and I think the only Bruiser in the game yesterday not to pick up a penalty.
See, I was thinking about saying that, but didn't want to jinx anything.
Oh, right. Well, this is a whole new game.
This is a whole new game. But indeed, it was an impressive feat to be the only skater to not pick up a single mark on the whiteboard yesterday.
Tie game now, 18 all. 3 more points picked up on that pass for the Bruisers. And Lexicon on the jam line in the white for the home teams. This is her first action of the weekend. She did sit yesterday in the game against the Rideau Valley Sirens. And it looks like she will be jamming against not just Mo, the official from Montreal Roller Derby.
That's what I was going to say. Looks like that's Chicana Bruzia,
yes,
who is joining Lexicon on the 1234 skate code jammer line.
A lot of chaos on this start, and it looks like Chicana Bruzia is going to get through as your lead jammer. Lexicon having a hard time with only one Bruiser blocker on the track. It's Monster Muffin, the pivot, trying to work some offense now for her trap jammer. Bruzia, though, around quickly, ready to score. 1 to beat for a full 4 points, and it will be 5 because she has now as well lapped the jammer, so 5 points on the board. The Derby Dames pulling back into the lead.
That's right, B Party's pivot, number 25, Rainbow Crash, crashing into Lexicon with the drawback back there at turn 2. Chicana Bruzia, meanwhile, up at turn 3, trying to get around Tushy Galore and So What. And she says, so what, and gets right past her, puts up another 5 spot for the B Party.
Lexicon, though, is through as well in her initial pass. Going to try and limit the damage now as the Bruisers' defense sets. They are nice position at the front of that pack, trying to keep a pace line, keep this pack moving. Tushy just missing on the hit on the inside. Enough, though, to slow her up, force the call off. Only 2 points on the board for the B Party.
That's right. Code Adams says rock on that one.
Let's try and take a look at the Boston B Party roster. Very quickly, 1256, Mandolin Slicer, number 14, Koopa Troopa, number 19, Fusta Rhymes, number 25, Rainbow Crash, number 2L2Q, MC Slammer, number 33, R2 Detonate, number 33, Chicana Bruzia, number 402, Go-Go Gidget, number 429, LL Cool Jam, number 5150, Neurotic Tendency, number 60, Katrina Swerko, number 86, Senora Slaughter, number CG2K, Catherine the Irate, and number B4, Eva Been Slapped, the B Party.
And Sleeper Hold picking up lead jammer status off the 1234 skate code jammer line. She's facing LL Cool Jam in this jam.
LL Cool Jam's 4th year skating with Boston. An important piece of this B Party team. Nice fast pack on the second straightaway. Sleeper Hold forced to call it off as she could not quite catch that Boston pack. No points on the board for either team.
The officiating crew for this game, the crew head referee is Deuce Willis from Hammer City, joined by Cleveland, Code Adam, Mattisfaction, Samiracle, Victor Von Refenstein, Just Mo, and Travis Sickle is the head NSO. See him there with the gauntlet.
Senor Slaughter, number 86, jamming for Boston, number 422, Beaver Mansbridge, trying to sneak up the inside line. Pops outside, though. Held up nicely. Big hit on turn number 2. Sends Senor Slaughter out. Beaver Mansbridge at the front of the pack is not lead. Picked up a nope. All right, I think Senor Slaughter had already been assessed lead jammer. But nonetheless.
Yeah, she got reabsorbed. And that's Beaver past her. Slaughter with the defensive call off. Beaver Mansbridge 422 for Bay Street Bruisers. At this point in the early going in the Toronto Roller Derby home season, I've got to say she's probably my pick for most improved skater this season. We're seeing tremendous fitness out of her, great track awareness, great footwork, and she's come a long way in a very short period of time in this league.
3-2 pack advantage for the Bruisers. Nice work by the Boston Pre-Party, though, to set up on the pivot line and to hold up Devachka enough to allow Senora Slaughter to get through and pick up lead jammer. Excuse me, that's Katrina Swerko on the jam line with the star. That was one jam behind, and she goes in hot on that pack, calling it off as she does and picks up 3 points.
Yep, she gets 3 on that one. Just slips around, so what, at turn 3.
So 10 minutes into the opening half, the Bruisers facing their first adversity of the Quad City Chaos, down 33-18.
This is a very fast game, too. We are seeing incredible pack speed. A lot of what we were seeing yesterday among the A-team games here at Quad City Chaos, a lot of stopped and really, really slow packs. Jammers are getting a lot of room to do work in this game in the early going.
Yeah, nice fast pace to this one early on a Sunday morning in Toronto, a cold Sunday at that. Lead jammer once again going to the Boston B Party, and this time it's on the jam line. It is Chicana Bruzia. She's already around in scoring.
Lexicon coming in quick, but not in time. That's a 1-0 jam for the B Party.
This is the third year we've had B-team games at the Quad City Chaos. The Bay Street Bruisers went 2-0 in 2013 and 2-0 again last year. And they won their first game of the tournament yesterday. First time facing off against the Sirens. And this is another first time meeting against the B Party.
So right now we are looking at LL Cool Jam on the 1234 skate code jammer line for Boston in blue. Sleeper hold in the white and gold. Jamming for the Bruisers. Multiplayer block being called there against R2 Detonate. And that's going to free up Sleeper hold, picking up the jammer status for the Bruisers.
LL Cool Jam with a nice burst of speed, beating all 4 Bruisers blockers on the outside of turn number 2. A big collision there as well, as Sleeper Hold goes through and picks up 4 points. So the Bruisers finally getting back on the board after 3 jams without any points. Timeout called by the B Party. First timeout of this game.
That's right, and this team timeout is brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. To transform your game, visit them at rollerderbyathletics.com. And I want to remind everybody watching at home that immediately following the 5 p.m. game today, which will be between Toronto CN Power and Steel City's Steel Hurton, we will have an MVP ceremony. We've got some sponsors who have helped us out with our MVP awards this year, including Wicked Skatewear. Wicked Skatewear loves to make you look and feel fabulous. Plus, they like glitter and neon and a lot of neon. So visit wickedskatewear.com to experience the shenanigans.
Shenanigans from Wicked. Thanks for watching. You were watching layer9.ca. Continuing coverage of the 2015 Quad City Chaos on the Derby Nerd here with Mr. Whistler. Early morning on Sunday, day 2. We'll be broadcasting live all day on layer9.ca and simulcast at 5 p.m. on WFTDA.tv. And it looks like timeout is done, and we will get back underway in this B-Team showdown. This is great. Boston has a long history, as I mentioned, have been playing in Canada, have come south of the border since 2008. They made their first trip north of the border. And
they went the long way around the world.
Yeah, exactly. Although, isn't Boston a little further north than Toronto, actually? It's pretty close.
I'm sure our viewers at home
can
let us know on the hashtag #TalkToQCC.
Beaver Mansbridge is your lead jammer on the track. Speaking of Canada, that's as Canadian a name as you're going to get.
Well, along with Moose Knuckles on the outside now on her way to the penalty box for a destruction call.
Also, Moose Knuckles' first action of the weekend. MK getting in for the Bruisers. No points on the board. Bruisers, though, keeping it close, down by 8 now, as we are nearing slowly the midway point of this opening half. It looks like Devachka back on the line, the 1234 Skate Company jam line. She is up against...
That looks like neurotic. Nope. Numbers all look
Katrina
the same on this
Swerko.
angle. Thank
Katrina
you.
Swerko, number 60.
Yeah, those zeros on the armbands look a lot like D's.
And Devachka picks up another lead jammer now, 3rd in a row for the Bruisers, but she does not have a lot of track to work with. as Swerko is quickly on her. A little bit of a parade to the penalty box. One team sending a blocker each. Wow, Devo getting through, but it looks like there's going to be a steal. Oh, a 4-0 jam for Boston on that one.
Wow, you can see as Devo is coming around at turn 3, she has a bit of that spread as she's bracing, keeping herself in bounds, but I don't think she saw the Boston Jammer passing her on the inside.
And it was a situation where there was 3 Bruisers blockers off the track for penalties, so she just had to pass 1 to get 4, and she was able to pass so what on turn 3.
Yeah, we have a very sparsely populated track right now. Hannibal, the only blocker out there right now for the Bay Street Bruisers. Boston countering with Mandolin Slicer, and looks like Catherine the Irate. And Chicana Bruzia picking up lead jammer status for the Boston B Party.
Hannibal finally able to open up a hole for Lexicon to get through, and Lexi's trying to make up about a half a track very quickly, though, and she's not going to be able to do it. Another 4-point pickup, it looks like, for the B Party. No, just 3 on that one. Called it off just before she passed the final skater. Extending their lead now to 15 points. Another close game, though. That's been the story of the weekend here at the Quad City Chaos, at least amongst the A-team games. The B-team game got a little out of hand late, but nonetheless, it was still just over 100-point differential in that one.
And right now, we've only got 15 points separating these two teams as we're looking at LL Cool Jam with the Jammer Star for Boston. Sleeper hold coming off the line with the star for the Bruisers. Sleeper going down at turn 1. LL Cool Jam also trying to get around So What, and she does. Picks up lead status.
Go-Go Gidget pivot for Boston heading to the penalty box. LL Cool Jam coming around now quickly to score. Sees the Bruisers all alone at the back of the pack. Get your kicks heading to the penalty box as well. And she had the star in her hand. So it looks as if there's going to be a power jam now for the B Party. We have hit the midway point of this opening half. You can see the Boston B Party happy to stop the pack at turn number 3, now making a move to sweep. Low Blow Palooza, last line of defense. Can't hold off LL Cool Jam. 5 points for the B Party.
Starting to hear a bit of crowd reaction as people are filling in the seats here at the bunker. Low Blow Palooza coming in for a sweeping hit on LL Cool Jam. LL Cool Jam, though, getting the best of that one, and she puts up another 5 spot for the B Party. Get your kicks now back on the track with the star on her helmet.
And LL Cool Jam, the veteran, calmly cruising through the pack on the outside. Takes a look at her bench, calls it off. Big 19-point jam for LL Cool Jam to blow this game wide open now, 60-26. The B Party leading over the Bay Street Bruisers.
Seeing Tucanale, the bench manager for Bay Street Bruisers, coming out. And he's calling a timeout. Once again, this timeout is brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. Visit them at rollerderbyathletics.com and transform your game.
And perhaps, let's do a shout out to perhaps one of the most important people here this weekend, at least some of the skaters think so, and that's Foundation Physiotherapy. Foundation Physiotherapy is Toronto's premier sports injury and physiotherapy clinic. Their philosophy is to address the foundation of their clients' injuries, speed up recovery, and instill valuable tools for physical wellness. FoundationPhysiotherapy.com. Thanks to them for all they do.
So in the early going, we have seen some penalty trouble already for both teams. Having a quick look at the whiteboards from where we are sitting, where we're seated.
Looks like Tushy Galore sitting on 3 for the Bruisers.
And number 33, R2 Detonate, also on 3 for the B Party. Are the only 2 skaters in the game thus far sitting on 3. It's a handful of both teams with 2.
R2 Detonate is probably very well known in the roller derby community as the creator of Roller Derby Junkies, that very popular Tumblr feed that highlights GIFs of key moments in roller derby games.
Yeah, she's also the bench coach for the Mass Maelstrom of the MRDA, as I understand it.
Very involved in the community. All right, Senora Slaughter jamming for the B Party as things get back underway, but it's Beaver Mansbridge popping through at turn 1 for the lead jammer status for the Bruisers. Bruisers trying to find a way to get back into this game. B Party controlling things early on. Nice pack work on the second straightaway to pull their points out of the way and pace line the defense.
Beaver stopping on a dime, has one more to beat.
Being told to call it off does.
Yeah, she was pushing and pushing on MC Slammer, the pivot for the B party, and just better to take the points that you've got before Boston can pick up any more. So it does become a 3-1 jam for the Bruisers. Boston does pick up 1 on there. 13 minutes plus left on the period clock.
A lot of stolen points this game so far for the B party. Something the Bruisers will have to watch out for as we move forward. It still is a tight game. Well, looks like it's going to be Devachka once again on the line against Katrina Swerko. Swerko trying to go inside, gets popped back by Joss Whelan. Nice pack work by both teams at turn number 1. It's a scrum start. Neither jammer able to get much room. Swerko trying to look now on the outside of the second straightaway. Now moving back in.
It's a bit of a whirlwind on the straightaway now, and Devachka now picking up her first penalty of the weekend for a high block. This is now a power jam for Katrina Swerko and the B party.
And this is another power jam we should mention. They've been racking up some power jams here early on, and that's allowed them to make up some distance here on the Bruisers. So the Bruisers going to have to watch that as the game works. Nice penalty killing, but a nice little pirouette by Swerko on turn 3. Gets her through the whole pack. 5 points on the board for the B party.
B party starting to spread out on that straightaway, anticipating the return of Devachka to the track, I think. Now they've got to make packs, so they do shorten that bridge.
And another pass for Swerko, another 5 points for the Bruisers. Devachka now throwing the star up to Getcha Kicks, the pivot. Former jammer, spent many years jamming, so she is definitely comfortable with this out of play calls being called. And finally, Getcha Kicks is through.
R2 Detonate picking up a forearm penalty. I believe that is now her 4th of the half.
Oof. Swerko now trying to work through this pack. Gets knocked to the inside. Nice defense from Devachka. Forces that call off as there's a bit of a Bruisers collision at turn number 2. Lobo Palooza and Joss Whelan both slow to get up. They do seem to be okay, though. Lobo Palooza plays with a certain level of intensity on the track. She leaves it all out there every time.
On the 1234 Skako jammer line right now for the Bay Street Bruisers is Lexicon. And I believe that's Chicana Bruzia, number 3333 for the B party.
And Lexicon gets out front now, runs right into Irate. Irate forced to let her go, though. And both jammers through. Chicana Bruzia trying to force a call off on the lead jammer, Lexicon.
Yeah, Lexi got sprung first by virtue of a multiplayer block call on one of the Boston blockers. But then by that point, they were both neck and neck, and you're not going to get the opportunity to do too much damage in that situation. Just pretty much 10 minutes left in the first half, Derby Nerd.
Yeah. This is going by quickly this half. Another low-scoring game here at the Quad City Chaos as well. 74-29, the Boston Derby Dames feeling the bonuses of a few power jams here early on. Sleeper Hold now getting the star, the captain of the Bay Street Bruisers. She's been pivoting primarily this weekend, but definitely a capable jammer, as we're seeing her get through. And so what? Joss Whelan and Lobo Palooza with some nice defense on LL Cool Jam. Sleeper Hold now powering her way through on turn number 2. Finds a hole on the inside, gets through, picks up 4 points. 5 points, excuse me. She did pass LL Cool Jam there. LL Cool Jam is through on her first pass.
Sleeper is going to go back for more. They've got some ground they've got to make up here. Gets around R2 Detonate, turn 4. Gets 4 more, so a 9-0 jam for the Bruisers. They're going to need a couple more of these before the half runs out if they want to get back into this one. They're not that far out of it, mind you. But this is one of the bigger gaps we have seen for the Bruisers this season.
Yeah, absolutely. They coming off of a win just a few weeks ago against the Royal City Bootleggers, 170-155, and what was a thrilling bout here at the bunker. Came down to the last few jams before it was decided.
And the Bootleggers, of course, are the Royal City Roller Girls A team.
Yeah, WFTDA, full WFTDA team as well. Oh, and it looks like a cut being called on Senora Slaughter. She tried to sneak through on the inside. It did not do so. Beaver Mansbridge now is lead jammer and on a power jam with just one B-party blocker out for the penalty kill. 3 Bruisers blockers now trying not to allow the B party blocker to pace line.
Yeah, that one blocker on her own was Fuzz to Rhymes, and she is now joined by one of her teammates. Can't see this far away. I think it's Evan been Slapped who's out there now, starting to repopulate the track. A bit more interference now for Beaver, who's now drawn back by Evan been Slapped.
So the B party is now starting to run into some penalty trouble.
Well.
Nice defense, though, here from the B party, dragging her all the way back almost to turn number 2. And that's going to force the call off.
So it's 2 consecutive 9-0 jams for the Bruisers. We now have a palindrome on the scoreboard, 74-47, with 7:47 left on the period clock. Thank you.
Wow.
I've been here all weekend.
Good catch. All right, Bruisers on a power start. 3-3 in the pack. Devachka out on the line. Has picked up a penalty now, so she's no longer has a clean weekend.
But if we're going for percentages, she's got a pretty good one going right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Loblopalooza providing the offense now against a swarming B-party wall of 3. Devachka, though, doing it all on her own now, able to spread them out, get some room. A nice quick re-entry. 1 to beat. Is able to get through. Does not pick up lead jammer status after a no pass, no penalty.
So Senora Slaughter now re-entering the play, coming up in hot behind Hannibal. Joss Whelan hits the ground, back up, trying to get around the inside line, see if she can pick up lead status.
Oh, and instead she picks up another cut. So back-to-back power jams for the Bay Street Bruisers. We talked about how power jams are the difference. Well, they're almost all evened up now. It's just whether or not the Bruisers can take advantage of this one. They are nearing the B party now within 22 points.
Some nice work there by Joss Whelan, tangling up the Boston blockers, opening up a hole for Devachka. Devachka through for another 5 points.
Go Gidget back on the track for the B party.
The remnants of this pack now at turn 4. R2 Detonate, the only one to beat on the B party for Devachka.
Nice work, though, by Detonate to slow her up. And there is Gidget now, back with her partner. So there's 2 B-party blockers on as Senora Slaughter comes out of the penalty box. Quickly around, Getcha kicks, and also Loblopalooza. Her initial pass complete.
You can see Loblo was trying to shark her, just couldn't quite get the speed up to catch her, though.
5 more points. Huge jam here for Devachka. 19 on the board so far. Sorry, 4 points in that pass, as Senora Slaughter also going through for points.
Devachka trying to find an opening on lane 4. It's not there. Going to 2 and 3.
10 seconds left on this jam. No lead jammer, so it has gone the full 2. Both jammers picking up points as it comes to its conclusion. Just at the end of it, Devachka able to slip through and get all 4. 4-2 in that final jam. 23-6 in total. Bay Street Bruisers back within 10. 5 to go in the opening half.
Yeah, that 17-point pickup, the net result there. Very important for the Bruisers. And they're showing this resiliency that we've seen from them in the early going of the 2015 season. On the bench, they've got Tucanale, who's been at this for a couple years. This is his first full-time year as the Bruisers bench manager. He's joined by Sleeper Cell, the tall gentleman with the ginger hair trackside.
Katrina Swerko on the track is your lead jammer for the B party, trying to take back momentum from the Bruisers, who have it clearly in their hands right now. Bruisers lined up at the back of turn 1. Oh, Swerko does get through, and did she do it cleanly? She did not. No. A cut. I wondered if she had come onto the track too quickly as she was trying to call it off, and it looks like that was the case. But Lexicon following her through with a forearm, so we will call this a scratch. We'll send both jammers back out on the track as you see the pack is at a dead stop waiting for them on the second straightaway.
Yeah, Swerko, a very talented skater, very talented jammer, going for that apex jump, was trying to call it from her back, but all for naught. This one's going to run the full 2. Swerko now coming up around Moose Knuckles and Robber Blind. Looks like Monster Muffin, number 333. They take her out of bounds. Swerko re-entering behind Honey Boom Boom. Meanwhile, Lexi as well was drawn back. And
yeah, Rainbow Crash with some nice defense, the pivot for the B party. Swerko is through, 5 points. And Lexicon has taken the star off. We'll see if it's a stash or a pass.
still in her hand, and she's up front, so I think this is the stash at this point in time, Derby Nerd.
Honey Boom Boom is the pivot. Rainbow Crash again with that relentless defense and a nice hip flip out on the part of She is getting a back block though. So
Rainbow Crash now in penalty trouble herself.
She's a very physical blocker, but some of these are really borderline hits, and they're just not going in her favor right now. Robert Blind also heading to the penalty box for the Bruisers, so both teams running in some penalty troubles. A nice clean pass for Honey Boom Boom, and that's going to be a grand slam. Kind of snuck her way in there, and the Bruisers now with the 9-5 jam are certainly within reach. 85-79, just down by 6. Timeout called here.
It's another Roller Derby Athletics timeout. Roller Derby Athletics provides off-skate training specifically for Derby. Visit them online at rollerderbyathletics.com. And that would be at least the 5th penalty in this half for Rainbow Crash, that back block. The officials calling a timeout. They're going to be looking at some paperwork right now.
And that would be a massive loss for the B party. She's huge in that pack, especially on the defense. Just a little note about Katrina Swerko. This is actually her first season with Boston, but it's her 7th season playing roller derby. Came from New Hampshire Roller Derby League there. So this is a big step up for Swerko, and nice. She looks good in her debut of competitive derby here for Boston.
Well, exactly. Those 7 years of experience, I think that's part of what gives a skater the gumption to go for those apex jumps sometimes. And we've seen her, I've seen her land them in their warm-ups, and she almost landed that one. Just caught a bit of the edge on the track, though.
All right, back underway now. On the inside, it is Chicana Bruzia is the jammer against Sleeper Hold. Sleeper Hold is also through, about 20 feet back now and making up track quickly. A lot of exposed points from both teams at the back of that pack. Chicana Bruzia happy to get the 3 and call it off.
Yeah, it looked like they had also found an extra point for lying on the track from, not for her rather, but for Swerko from the previous jam. Because it had been showing 89-79. Now we're at 93-79. 2 minutes left in the first half of Game 6 of the 2015 Quad City Chaos here at the Bunker in Downsview Park in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, that wasn't also an extra point added on the end of that jam as well for Chicana Bruzia, initially just given 3. Oh, and powering her way through is MC Slammer. Haven't seen much from her with the star yet this game, but powerful drive off of that start gets her through in lead, and Beaver Mansbridge has a lot of track to make up. Robert Blind coming out of the penalty box trying to chase down MC Slammer. Can't quite do it. 4 more points for the Boston Derby Dames, ending this half strong after quite a Bruisers pushback. There's going to be 2 on the track now for the Bruisers. The B party having the defensive line. The 1234 Skate Company start line, owned right now by the Boston Derby Dames early on. Devachka out there to jam for the Bruisers.
Just over a minute left in the first half. Palindrome again on the scoreboard, 97-79. Multiplayer block penalty being issued against 007 Tushy Galore of the Bay Street Bruisers. That frees up LL Cool Jam, picking up lead jammer status. Scoreboard adjustment once again, now 96-79.
Tushy Galore running into some penalty troubles as well. That looks like at least her 5th penalty, so we're going to have to watch that. She's a key part of this Bruisers blocking core. 4 more points on the board for the B party, 100 now to 79. Looks like we'll get 1 more jam in this half.
I want to briefly tell you, Nerd, about Nerd Roller Skates. They're Calgary's only quad skate shop, and they now offer free shipping in Canada with orders over $150, and you can find them at nerdskates.com. Nerd.
And I get nothing for that plug at all. I just want to make that clear. Disclaimer. All right, here it is, the final jam of the opening half here of Day 2. Quad City Chaos. Lexicon jamming in the white for the Bay Street Bruisers. It is Chicana Bruzia once more for the B party.
Hannibal, number 467 with the red helmet, just lost her footing. No collisions there when she hit the deck.
Bruzia once again taking that outside line. Bruiser's going to have to be a little conscious of it. They're giving it up quite a bit. Lexicon now able to find her way through the pack on her initial pass as well. The damage may also already be done. Oh, nice work from Moose Knuckles and Monster Muffin to drag her back, and they did draw a cut on a back block. So power jam opportunity for the Bruisers to end the opening half, and boy, they could really use a few points here going into the break. Lexicon picks up the first 5.
Yeah, Boston setting up at turn 3. Bruisers coming in for the sweep. It's Monster Muffin and Tushy Galore with the lead on it. Follow through from Moose Knuckles and Hannibal, and Lexi through for another 5.
Nice sweep by the Bruisers. Well played and well timed. Monster Muffin again leading the offense. A little early that time as Bruisers jammer Lexicon gets held up, and she gets called on a penalty herself. Flipping power jams just as Bruzia comes back on the track. And Bruzia is also being sent off once again. Oh no, never mind, sorry. She seemed confused about that as well. I saw her asking her ref, and in the confusion it was determined she did not.
And that time taking the outside lane. Tushy Galore picking up her 6th penalty of the half. Looks like it was a blocking out of bounds penalty.
Yes, it was for Tushy Galore, and that is her 6th. 5 points now through the Boston Derby Dames, taking back all of that, the ground that the Bruisers had made up in a nice pass again from Chicana Bruzia, faking in, going out, ending the first half on a high note for the visitors from Boston. 120 to 92, it looks like it's going to be heading into half.
Yeah, a 2013 jam. So net result, a 7-point pickup for the B party on that one. Again, penalty trouble. We're seeing this again on the B team games. I don't think it's a Bruisers thing, Derby Nerd. I think I don't know if it is a thing at all. To be honest, it's impressive the parade we have seen in this game so far. It's been both on the jammer side, lots of power jams.
Yeah.
But we're seeing some ton of blocker penalties as well.
Yeah.
It's very rare that we're getting both teams able to put 4 out at a time.
And as it was with yesterday's B team game it's really affecting the play. There's no real sort of flow to the game at all, or any momentum being able to be maintained by either team. So teams are going to have to tighten things up here. It makes for kind of sloppy roller derby when we've got all these penalties.
No, but it's keeping. I mean, it is a sparse crowd this morning. Is keeping them in the game for sure. And difference here, we've got 28 points separating these two teams at the half. Again, the level of parity we have seen at this year's Quad City Chaos, something we've not seen before at this tournament. There's always been some close games. Of course, last year, a couple of really tight A-team games, but we've always had a couple of blowouts. There are no teams here this year that are patsies. There are no teams this year that are going to get walked all over.
Absolutely, and it's been such a close tournament that this 28-point lead right now at half seems monstrous for the B party. That's just the kind of tournament it has been. All right, well, that's going to do it for the first half here. We'll be back in about 11 minutes to set you up for the second half. For Mr. Whistler and the whole crew at Layer 9, I'm the Derby Nerd, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, I just want to say hello, Scotland. Okay, am I live? I'm just gonna say hello, Scotland.
Welcome back to Quad City Chaos 2015. I am Mr. Whistler.
And I'm the Derby Nerd.
And you are watching, if you're just joining us, the Bay Street Bruisers from Toronto taking on the B Party from Boston, another B team matchup. A penalty-heavy first half. Right now we're looking at 3 skaters in this game who picked up 6 penalties in that first half. From the Bay Street Bruisers, Tushy Galore sitting on 6. For the Boston B Party, Rainbow Crash and R2 Detonate also on 6. Senora Slaughter, number 86, she's sitting on 5.
Yeah, and overall in that first half, the Bruisers did pick up more penalties, but it seemed to be spread out more evenly over their roster, where it was just a few of these B Party skaters picking up a lot of penalties. So something to watch as this half progresses in what has been a very penalty-filled game. To come into a half with that many penalties is definitely dangerous.
Yeah, so we might see some line changes in the second half as people try to conserve their skaters that are in danger. We've seen a number of lead changes, although Boston has been out in front for the latter half of the first half. Score coming out of halftime is 120-92. This is the second of 3 B-team games for the Bay Street Bruisers at this tournament. They will be playing again at 3 o'clock this afternoon on layer9.ca. They will be taking on the Steel Beamers from Steel City in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's right. And it's been a heck of a game, and every time the Bruisers seem to come back and steal momentum away from the B Party, Boston kind of locks things down, gets a power jam or something, and then gets right back into it. And that was the case at the end of the first half as well, as it seemed as if the Bruisers were right back in it. They were within 10, and then before you knew it, they had given up another power jam. Over the last 2 jams, there was a lot of points scored. In the last jam with no lead jammer, it was a 20-13 wild one to close out the half, and that gave Boston, allowed them to increase their lead now up to 18 points. It had been at 11 going into that jam. So a tight half, as it has been all weekend here at the Quad City Chaos. And I'm sure it's going to continue for the rest of the day as well. The Steel Beamers coming up against this Bruisers team. Those are also 2 very evenly matched clubs at the A and B levels, so that should be a tight one as well. Coming up next here on the network on layer9.ca is an A-team matchup between the Rideau Valley Vixens and the Boston Massacre, so please do stay tuned for that one. Another WFTDA Division 1 game. WFTDA Division 1 games yesterday. Of the 3 games we saw, there were 2 upsets, so rankings mean little, it seems, at the Quad City Chaos this year.
That is indeed the fact. We're going to wait and see who's going to be starting this one off on the 1234 Skaco Jammer line. We've been telling you about the 1234 Skaco organization all weekend, and I'm going to throw out a little shout out to them as well. They supply Peterborough and the surrounding 705 area with roller skates and roller derby equipment, and they even offer skate maintenance classes, fresh meat training, and minimums testing. You can find them online at 1234skateco.com.
Thanks to them for sponsoring our start line and being the official vendor of Toronto Roller Derby in 2015. Just a little bit of an update that we have had some scoreboard issues here in the venue, not obviously on the screen. You're still seeing the accurate score there. So we're just waiting till we reboot that and get things reset. Yes, the beautiful display here is actually correct. So we'll be getting right back into it
momentarily.
Yes, this is the 6th annual Quad City Chaos. For those who just tuning in for the first year, thank you for doing so. It started way back in 2010 when, at the time, we featured the 4 strongest teams in Canadian roller derby. And that first Quad City Chaos also included the first ever WFTDA game that was all international, featured no American teams, when the Hammer City A team took on Montreal's New Skids on the block. All right, looks like everything here in the venue has been reset, and we're ready to go. It's going to be LL Cool Jam jamming for the B party on this power start, and she's immediately through for lead jammer status. Nice offense from B Party.
B Party in blue, Bay Street Bruisers in the white and gold. Lexicon sprung from the box now. She has completed her initial pass.
2 B Party blockers, though, picking up penalties for that explosive start they had. So we'll see if that was a fair payoff or not.
4 wall of Bruisers up front working on LL Cool Jam. She still has some work to do. Hits the deck, is back up in a hurry. Monster Muffin with the hip flick. Can't take her into the infield. That's good for 4 points for the B Party.
That's right. Both jammers picking up points now, and a nice, easy pass for Lexicon as the inside lane was wide open. Nice job by the Bruisers keeping those blockers to the outside, and now working the defense on LL Cool Jam as well. Nice start to this second half, despite the disadvantage with the jammer in the box. Quick start. No points on that last pass, though, for Lexicon.
Yeah, she had an apex jump there, but looked like she wasn't able to actually get past anybody when she landed before the whistles went.
Ooh, Rainbow Crash now getting an opportunity with the star. So the B Party mixing things up here in the second half as well. And Sleeper Hold on the 1234 Skate Company jam line for the Bruisers.
And this is kind of a gutsy move for the B Party. As we said, Rainbow Crash sitting on 6 penalties.
But she has been a force in the pack, and we'll see if she can translate that to the jammer position as well. And a nice move on the outside, showing nice footwork to go with that power to get through and pick up lead jammer.
Sleeper Hold getting through as well. Bruisers setting up at turn 1. Joss Whelan, Getcha Kicks, and Tushy Galore. Knocking Rainbow Crash to the infield, and she calls it. No points come in for either side.
And nice work by the Boston blockers. As soon as that they saw their jammer get knocked to the inside, they immediately rushed ahead, keeping their points out of the danger zone. No points on that pass.
Katrina Swerko, number 60 for the B Party on the 1234 Skaco jammer line, facing off against 422 Beaver Mansbridge for the Bay Street Bruisers. Only 2 blockers for Boston on the track right now. It's number 19, Fuss de Rhymes, and 5150, Neurotic Tendency, the co-captain of this team.
Beaver Mansbridge held up, was able to burst through, though, just behind the B Party blocker, and Swerko is going to call that off.
2 consecutive pointless jams.
Devachka now back out on the line. Chikenya Bruiser. Also, Bruzia, sorry. As I wake up more, my enunciation should improve as well. 3 Boston B Party skaters at the front. And it is the Bruisers holding the defensive position on the line. All 4 blockers out there, locking up Bruzia. Devo able to work her way through the middle of the track. Gets by, picks up a lead jammer status. And it's going to be a cutting penalty on Chicken and Bruzia. Power jam opportunity for the Bruisers here early in the second half as they try and work their way back into this game. Devachka, who maybe has been the most steady jammer for the Bruisers all weekend, working that 3-wall of B-party skaters on the penalty kill, and she's doing a nice job all alone at the front of that pack. Pops through, picks up 5.
Not the largest jammer out there, but she has definitely got some power.
She is tough, has been playing roller derby for quite a few years now. Started up north in Peterborough, Ontario, before shifting to Durham region, and then making her way all the way down here to Toronto now, and once again making quick work of this Boston defense. 1 to beat through, 5 more points for the Bruisers. Chikena Bruzia comes out right in front of the pack, picking up a procedure. Wow, a little bit of a brain malfunction on that one as she came in right in front of the Bruisers pack, which
so
you cannot do.
Power jam continues for Devachka and the Bruisers. A bit of scrambling happening here.
So what, getting sent to the penalty box for the Bruisers. 1 less offensive skater on the pack for them.
R2 Detonate getting tangled up there with Moose Knuckles and Getcha Kicks. They're trying to force her over the line, unable to do so.
Nice trapping, though, by Toronto. Seeing a lot more trapping this weekend on power jams than we've seen perhaps in the last few years in the WFTDA. Devachka, they're getting knocked out to the outside. Nice work here on the penalty kill as Chikena Bruzia is back on the track. This time entering legally. Devo trying to finish off this pass as 2 to beat.
Getcha Kicks coming in with Moose Knuckles. Just do a bit of a sweep for
Bruzia finishes her first pass.
5 more points come in for Devachka. So that 15-point jam for the Bruisers, they're now within 11 points of the Boston Bee Party. 24.5 minutes left in the second half. And of course, as we've told you before, we will have an MVP ceremony at the conclusion of the 4th game today. So the MVP ceremony will be roughly around before 7 o'clock. We'll be awarding MVPs to the top jammer amongst all the A teams and the top blocker amongst all the A teams. Same for the B teams, 1 blocker and 1 jammer.
All right, packs are split here now, 3-on-3 on the defense. It's 3 Bruisers working the back of the pack as Joss Whelan comes out of the penalty box, provides a little bit of offense. Is it enough to get Lexicon through? It is not. Nice defense up at the front of that pack from the B party, and once again the outside lane was wide open, and LL Cool Jam takes it as Honey Boom Boom, the pivot for the Bruisers, is sent to the penalty box.
Yeah, I saw Lexi having to do a lot of back and forth getting around turn 2. Finally here at turn 3, she evades those blockers.
LL Cool Jam, though, already around to score, gets by Monster Muffin, picking up her full pass, calling it off. 4 points on the board once again for the B party now. 15 points is the lead. Coming right out to the 1234 Skate Company jam line is Rainbow Crash. I guess they liked what they saw so much. And, you know, she was getting a lot of those penalties, those sort of borderline, the big hits that turn into forearms. And she had one nice, it looked like a hip check, but got called on a back block. So maybe they're trying to keep her out of the pack to avoid some of those hitting penalties that she was picking up in the first half.
And any of you folks watching at home might think she looks a little bit familiar. If you were watching the Roller Derby World Cup in December.
Oh, that's right. Rocks, right?
That's right. She was skating for Team Brazil, picking up a lot of valuable experience on the international stage and bringing it here across the border, playing against the Bay Street Bruisers.
That's right. She skated as Rocks for Brazil. And she is out ahead of Sleeper Hold now. She's coming up quickly. There's a lot of exposed Boston points at the back of that pack. She is giving them up. Now trying to make sure she gets her full pass. 4 for the Bruisers and a 4 for Boston. So we'll call that one a wash. Nice work by the Bay Street Bruisers to keep ahead. .134 now is the score. 119 for the Bay Street Bruisers. The hosts down a little bit, but certainly not out.
Yeah, that's just 15 points. That's 3 grand slams.
Katrina Swerko back on the line, number 60 in the blue against Beaver Mansbridge, number 422. Swerko on the inside takes lead jammer. Beaver now trying to follow her on the inside as well, makes it through.
Collision on the track, and it looks like it's Neurotic Tendency who is down right by the pivot line. Medics are coming out on the track to see what happened.
Don't want to speculate too much, but she has hold her face, so she's moving around, and she is holding her nose, it looks like. So it was a high block, or she might have caught it on the fall. But she is okay. Just a stinger, obviously.
And so having stopped the play, that means she will miss at least the next 3 jams. Well, I saw a bit of it on the periphery of my vision as I was looking out further across the track, and it looked to me like she may have actually just collided with a teammate.
Okay.
I think one of her teammates got kind of rocked backwards a bit and might have bumped into her face.
She's all right on the bench, looking pretty good. You just saw the penalty box, 2 bruisers in there, the pivot, Monster Muffin, and So What. So 2 blockers down to start this one on. Getcha Kicks and Joss Whelan all alone out there for the Bruisers facing off against 3 of all 4 Boston blockers. Devachka is the jammer. Chicana Bruzia, the jammer for Boston. Chicana Bruzia is through. Lead jammer picked up for the B party.
But Devachka powering her way around those 4 blockers. Not quite as quickly, of course, as Chicana Bruzia had managed to get past the 2 Toronto blockers, but not too far behind either.
Nice work by Getcha Kicks to knock Bruzia to the outside, force a call off. No points on the board for either team. Oh, we haven't actually got the indication yet from the Boston Jam ref, but I'm going to assume no point. Oh, there it is.
There
no
it
points.
Yeah. Satisfaction just a little bit behind the play.
Level 5 ref. It's backwards, right? Level 1 is the highest, so he's still got some learning to do.
Yeah, get it together, Matt.
All right, Lexicon on the jam line for the Bruisers.
And Senora Slaughter, number 86 for the B party.
In some penalty trouble, as you mentioned, Mr. Whistler coming out of the half, 5 penalties, but she picks up lead jammer status here.
Yeah, she just bounced off a nice hit attempt there by Hannibal. Hannibal, a bit of a cannonball in the Bruiser pack. There again, going down in a heap with Senora Slaughter. She's got to go back and reset. She's trying to now get around Monster Muffin and Moose Knuckles.
Nice work by the Bruisers pack to make her earn those 4 points. Couldn't quite hold her off enough to allow their jammer to come in and either steal some or force a call off. Looks like we've got a timeout.
This is a Roller Derby Athletics timeout. Roller Derby Athletics wants you to be strong, fierce, and unstoppable. Find out more at rollerderbyathletics.com. And Derby Nerd, we're looking at a 19-point deficit right now for the Bruisers, 138-119. 20 minutes plus on the period clock.
Yeah, it's now that things have sort of calmed down a little bit in terms of the penalties, both teams a little cleaner here in this half. We're starting to see that, I think, anyway, from my estimation, that Boston is taking the advantage on the starts. That seems to be where they are winning this game right now. They're dominating in the lead category. And that's what's making it so hard for the Bruisers to pick up any sort of momentum and get a kind of flow going in this game. So talent, I think, talent-wise, these are 2 very, very evenly matched teams. Looks like there's some discussion with the benches at the end of that half, and it looks like So What, number 525, as you see in your screen right there, passing in front of you, being sent to the penalty box. That's going to pull Tushy Galore off the track. 3 blockers on the track for the Bruisers with Sleeper Hold jamming against Katrina Swerko. 4-3 pack advantage for the B party, and they are lining up on that back line, the 1234 Skate Company start line.
Yeah, So What is now also on her 6th trip to the penalty box. So the Bruisers with 2 blockers sitting on 6. Boston now has 3 because Senora Slaughter also has at some point picked up her 6. We have 5 skaters in this game, all sitting on 6 penalties.
Wow. Definitely something to watch. Swerko with some nice work on the outside and coming up under that pack hot. And again, the outside lane left wide open by the Bruisers, perhaps overcompensating, guarding the inside a little bit too much. Leaving outside lanes wide open on turn 2 and 3 in particular.
Yeah, that was a very fast jam, Derby Nerd. That was less than 30 seconds between its start and the call-off. Some of the fastest 4 points we've seen.
Swerko having a very strong game, but so is LL Cool Jam out on the jammer line against Beaver Mansbridge. And Boston still getting that back line. Bruisers going to have to make some adjustments here on the starts. They do have the advantage on the bench. Be nice to see if they could get a defensive position off these starts, try and get some lead jammer statuses going on a little more consistent basis.
Honey Boom Boom picking up a forearm penalty on the Bruisers side. She's on her way to the penalty box.
Nice scrappy start here from both packs, keeping things tight. LL Cool Jam now with the advantage, 1 to beat. Monster Muffin, the Bruisers pivot, getting some help from Robert Blind at the front of that pack. Beaver Mansbridge taking a big hit to the outside, dragged back. And that's going to allow LL Cool Jam to get through. Another lead jammer status picked up, but nice work by both packs as it almost took a full lap to get our lead jammer.
Beaver has the star off of her helmet, has handed it off to her pivot, 333 Monster Muffin. Monster Muffin, no stranger to the jammer position. She's trying to get it on before she hits the pack.
Yeah, she cannot score points unless she has that on. They both hit the pack at the same time, called off, and looks like nothing. Oh, all four for Boston.
Yeah, no points picked up there for the Bruisers. Monster Muffin did get the cover on in time. However, by the time she hit the pack, the jam got called. It looked like when Beaver went down on the straightaway, she went down hard. It was just like getting up, and I'm like, I'm going to hand this off to you. This is going to be your job for the rest of this jam. Sometimes you have to do that, maybe get the wind knocked out of you a little bit. She looks just fine on the bench, though.
Yes, one of the strengths of this Bruisers team is their pivots, their backup jammers. Nice work by Devotchka to skip through on the inside, pick up a much-needed lead jammer status for the Bruisers. And it looks like it's going to be a power jam at that. That's Chicana Bruzia heading to the penalty box, her third penalty of this half alone. So she has run into some penalty troubles.
Yep, that was a track-cutting penalty that she picked up.
Devotchka not having much luck here as the Bruisers electing to not play offense, allowing Devotchka to work her way through. She eventually does get the 5.
It's something we were talking about yesterday. We are seeing the what everyone has come to call passive offense. We've seen that kind of falling by the wayside, and you're not seeing it as much. But every once in a while, maybe you just trust your jammer, let her go for it. Yep.
And you see the Bruisers, though, you don't have much time to work with, and the Bruisers, I guess, weren't happy with the amount of time it took Devo to get through on that first one, so they came through, caused some havoc, and now they're going to see if Devo can get through alone on this one as the Boston Jammer gets back on the track. Nice work by Devotchka to spread up that pack.
Neurotic tendency coming in to cause a disturbance in the force, and that's going to allow Chicana to get through.
151 to 134, the Bruisers staying within reach. Devo with a nice pass on the outside of this time. She has gotten the points. Bench telling her to call it off is Tushy Galore. Knox, the Boston Jammer to the outside to save points. Only one picked up.
But she does prevent the B party pickup, so that lead for the B party is now down to 16 points.
16 minutes to go.
Another big jam for Devotchka and the Bay Street Bruisers. So right now on the 1234 Skaco jammer line, we have Lexicon with the star.
Looks like Rainbow Crash is going to be back out there with the star for the Boston B party.
Officials calling a timeout. Gives me an opportunity to tell you about a couple of the other sponsors that we have here at Toronto Roller Derby and Quad City Chaos. Some of our year-long sponsors for Toronto Roller Derby include Now Magazine. Now Magazine is Toronto's alternative news and entertainment source. Now Magazine is the official media sponsor of Toronto Roller Derby, and they are online at nowtoronto.com. Also, the Urbane Cyclist, that's Toronto's worker co-op bike shop. Visit them at 180 John Street in Toronto, or uCycle, that's the letter U, ucycle.com.
Seeing some of the fans here at the Quad City Chaos camped out. A couple members of Toronto CN Power in that picture as well. Pretty good crowd here all weekend. Starting to fill up slowly here on Sunday morning, day 2. You're watching, of course, layer9.ca. Thanks for tuning in once again.
And if you are in the Toronto area this evening, by all means, please join us at the after party at the Magpie Tap Room. That's 831 Dundas Street West.
That's right.
Just west of Euclid.
You don't have to have been at Quad City Chaos
Nope.
to be there, but we might give you a hard time.
They have video game consoles. They've got.
They do.
They've got
Old school video
Old
game.
school. Yeah, they've got some Segas. They've got some PlayStations set up, and I think they have Tall Boys also on special.
Oh, excellent.
There you go.
All right, looks like things have been sorted out. We're ready to go. Hands raised.
Wow, I hadn't seen that
Just
one
like
in a while.
2008 all over again.
We're going to see belts anytime.
Yeah, Lexicon pushing through another scrappy start, but Rainbow Crash again with that power, able to force her way through first. Lexicon did take that lane, though, and is right on her back, less than a foot behind.
Both jammers wearing number 25. Lexi getting up ahead.
And stealing 2. No, sorry, that was Boston's 2.
Yeah, Lexi not getting any points on that pass. Couldn't see from this angle if she had gone over the line as the jam was getting called.
I'm so used to the Bruisers wearing blue. And it looks like there's some confusion on the Boston bench. They had too many skaters on the track. They had a pivot on the track.
Too many helmet covers.
So now the Bruisers have taken that defensive position at the back. Let's see if that can help them out here. They've got to watch that outside lane.
Tushy Galore out there blocking with Joss Whelan and Low Blow Palooza. Sleeper hold picking up lead jammer status for the ladies in white and gold.
Swerko, though, right on her. Couple feet back. Both jammers coming in hot. There's a lot of Bruisers points exposed at the back of that pack, and that forces the sleeper hold call off. Nothing on that jam.
Just a couple of donuts.
Couple of Canadian donuts. Well, one Canadian donut, one American donut.
Couple of apple fritters. Beaver Mansbridge on the 12:34 skate code jammer line for the Bruisers, and 33:33 Chicana Bruzia for the Boston Bee Party.
Again, seeing the Bruisers line up at the back. But nice work by Chicana Bruzia just to pull them up. Hannibal with a nice knockout and getting called on a no call, but they think they drew a cut, and they did draw a cut. A little late call there. Some communication from the outside back ref, but it has been called. Chicana Bruzia back in the penalty box. 4th time this half that she has picked up a penalty for Boston. Beaver Mansbridge now with an opportunity on the power jam. It is a fast pack here set up by Boston. Nice defense from the Bee Party. Beaver now the athletic jammer for the Bruisers, working her way through this pack, trying to split them apart. Has one to beat, does get through 5 points, but it was a hard-earned 5 points, and she had to adjust her equipment as well after all of that battling.
I feel like that's not the first time I've seen that equipment adjustment. That may have come, though, as a result of that collision she had with 19 Fuster Rhymes of the Bee Party. Hannibal coming in for the hit. Takes a while until Chicana Bruzia goes down, and she does. Hannibal coming off the track, the bit of a shrug, like, I guess I'm okay. I think she fully expected to get called on something for that.
Yeah. Well, it looked like a clean hit, went in hips. So Chicana Bruzia now getting into some penalty trouble. Sitting on 5 penalties. She only had 1 at the half, so that's something we're going to have to watch as this game goes on. But Boston seems pretty content to expand their jammer rotation if necessary.
Senora Slaughter back out there with the star, number 86. Devachka, 138 for the Bruisers. Both jammers can get a good head of steam when they have the room, and it's Senora Slaughter who gets it through first, is your lead jammer. Devo, though, not too far behind her. Teams are kind of pausing on the far straightaway. They're going to wait for these jammers to come up and see what they can do.
Bruisers, some nice defense at the back, but couldn't quite save their points. 2 points picked up for 3 points, picked up for Boston. Wow, nice work by the jammer.
So still only a 14 points difference between these two teams. We've been kind of hovering back and forth between 10 to 20 points for the second half. Boston not pulling away. Bruisers so far unable to overcome this relatively small deficit. Although, as we were saying before, given the parity we've seen this weekend in most of these games, 20 points can be a mountain.
Yeah, and the amount of penalties that these teams have picked up as well. Still anyone's game. Lexicon now trying to work her way through this Boston pack.
Just hammer and nailing on her.
Yeah, nice work by Boston to slow her up and allow LL Cool Jam to get through and pick up another lead jammer status. Penalty being called, issued to Lexicon. No, she's being called back on the track. Excuse me. Some confusion there, forcing Lexi to reset at the back.
We'll occasionally see that a penalty maybe gets issued by one of the pack refs and then gets overruled by one of those inside.
And Lexicon had stashed the helmet cover. It's still in her hand, though. As LL Cool Jam comes in the pack, takes a hit. Down, but quickly back on her skates. Lots of penalties being called once again, this time to a Boston Bee Party blocker. Lexicon is through, puts the star back on her helmet.
That's Evan been slapped, picking up a direction of gameplay penalty. And now a track cutting penalty being issued to LL Cool Jam. This is now a power jam for the Bay Street Bruisers once Lexicon can get back up. She was taken down hard there by MC Slammer. Lexicon now is on her way to the penalty box as well, also with a track cut. Getting back. No, I'm sorry, that's a forearm.
There was a big collision there on the outside of the first straightaway. So the lead now back up to 19 points for Boston. They'll have a very brief power jam to work with here. LL Cool Jam coming back on the track. Only 20 seconds remaining in this jam. Both jammers have completed their initial pass. Nice hit from Robert Blind, but she does tumble over the jammer at the end of that.
Took out her own blocker, Honey Boom Boom, in the process.
Lexicon back on the track, weaving her way through. 5 points picked up for LL Cool Jam.
And 2 for Lexicon.
It's a nice job by Lexi to get those 2 points at the very end of that jam, coming out of the penalty box fast and getting back into the pack.
Yeah, so overall, that was a 10-2 jam in favor of the B Party. They've now expanded their lead to 22 points with under 10 minutes left in the second half.
This is the first year at the QCC we've had 3 B-team matchups, and they have been excellent, especially this one. Outstanding game here between 2 excellent B teams. Big hit absorbed there by Rainbow Crash, and that is the great strength of having such a powerful jammer on your rotation.
Yeah, I think So What was a little bit surprised that it kind of got shrugged off because she herself wound up tumbling into the infield after that hit. Rainbow Crash crashing around turn 3. Meanwhile, we've had a Star pass. Star handed off to the pivot Monster Muffin for the Bruisers. She's trying to get that on her helmet before she hits the pack. Comes through the inside, runs it a Koopa Troopa.
She does pick up a point, though. 1 point assessed, so that'll be a 1-0 pass for the Bruisers, making it 5-1 on the jam. It's a nice job by Monster Muffin to hustle and get a point. Nice work by Boston, just remaining calm despite this ferocious Toronto pushback, keeping just ahead of the hosts.
Tucanale, the bench manager for the Bay Street Bruisers, came out a quick word with the crew head referee, Deuce Willis, about something that happened at the end of that jam, but they're going to let play continue.
And once again, Swerko, who's been awesome for Boston, picking up another lead jammer status. Beaver Mansbridge trying to catch up, but she's got about a half a track to make up. And Swerko with those nice wide strides, keeping ahead of her. White points available at the back of that pack. Again, just brazenly bursting through on the outside, getting the 2 points that were at that back of that pack.
Yeah, so she picks up
looks
three
up 3
in total. Robert Blind saved her point, though, with the hip flick and talks her over the line. So 8 minutes left in the second half on the 1234 Skako jammer line. We've got
Looks like LL Cool Jam
and Devotchka, but there is an official timeout being called.
NSO's coming in from the sidelines to talk things over with the referee. And we should take this opportunity to thank KT Tape. KT Tape, elastic sports tape for pain relief and support. If you're here at the bunker or coming later on in the day, you can visit them. They are in our merch alley, or you can go online to kttape.com. As we mentioned, we got a full day of Derby coming up for you. Next up on the schedule is the 1 p.m. game featuring the Rideau Valley Vixens, ranked number 39th in the WFTDA. They've already picked up one big upset on the weekend. They'll be taking on the Boston Massacre, the highest ranked team here at the Quad City Chaos 2015, currently ranked 25th in the WFTDA. I have a feeling there's going to be some shuffling after this weekend.
Yes, I'm sure on the calls later on this afternoon, like on that Rideau-Boston game, we are going to have Captain Lou Albamo. I'm sure he'll have some math for you, and maybe some rankings suggestions as to what the result of this weekend might be. It
is a busy weekend in the WFTDA, so it's hard to keep up with everything. There were some super close games last night, but we've been trying to monitor it all. Nice start here for both teams.
Joss Whelan just demolished LL Cool Jam into the infield with that collision. But LL Cool Jam able to recover, picking up lead status. Devotchka about a quarter of a lap behind her.
Yeah, the Bay Street Bruisers have been really strong defensively. Oh, but again, sometimes giving up that outside lane, and that, as they did once more there. Got to start working some offense, though, perhaps on these Boston Walls. The Jammers, they are able to make their way through, but it's taking so much effort for the Bruisers Jammers to get through that it's just taking almost too long, and that's allowing those Boston Jammers to get out ahead of them. Bruisers, all 4 blockers on the track, do take that back line. Boston slipping up to the front with 3. 4-3 advantage here for the Bruisers. Lexicon out jamming against Chicana Bruzzi has had kind of a rough half this game. Lexicon is through for lead jammer status for the Bruisers. This is Lexi's 3rd year with the Bay Street Bruisers, after getting called up midway through the 2013 season.
I believe she was the 2012 Toronto Roller Derby Rookie of the Year, or just the 2013.
One of those years.
It was one of those years. We don't have our record books handy, unfortunately, but
No.
she has been doing this for a while, and picks up some much-needed 4 points on that pass.
I'm going to say 2012. She did her fresh meet in 2010. Thereabouts. She was once Rookie of the Year in Toronto Roller Derby. How about that? Let's leave it at that.
Last year's Rookie of the Year for Toronto Roller Derby
Yeah.
is on the 1234 Skate Jammer line right now. It's number 213, Sleeper Hold. She's facing off against Katrina Swirko, number 60. Sleeper picking up lead jammer status, but Swirko looks like she may be about to pass her, and she does.
Yeah,
That's going to force the call off from Sleeper.
Actually, no. It was 2011 when she completed her fresh meet. 2012 in the Divas. 2013 Toronto Roller Derby Rookie of the Year. The coffee just clicked. Just kicked in.
Yes, we do not have a... well, actually, we do have a coffee sponsor for Toronto Roller Derby.
Yes, we do.
Brown Golden Marley coffee, available only here at the bunker. You can't have it at home unless you bought some at the store.
Wow, yeah, so there you go. Also like to thank Honeybee, Pure Honey Joy, the sponsors for the announcers this weekend, and they've been much appreciated.
Yes.
Rainbow Crash back out there jamming and crashing her way through a Bruisers 2-wall to pick up lead jammer for the B party. Beaver Mansbridge with her quick feet constantly moving, trying to work her way through a 3-wall, but having some trouble as these Boston walls have just been impenetrable. Crash coming around to score. Gets knocked down to the outside. Gets called on a back-blocking penalty, and she is in the box. I don't know if... Oh, we have a skater down.
Yeah, that would be Robert Blind, number 34.
Robert Blind, a longtime veteran of the Bay Street Bruisers. She was an original Bruisers, was part of the first ever Bruisers roster in 2012, has been playing in Toronto Roller Derby since 2009. Longtime member of the Chicks Ahoy. Won some championships early in her career with them. So we will keep you updated. She is alert and talking.
Now, having a look at the whiteboards, it does appear they made some adjustments at some points when the officials were in there having a look-see. A couple skaters who were sitting on 6 are now just showing 5. But for the Bay Street Bruisers, Honey Boom Boom and So What are both sitting on 6 penalties. For the Boston B party, number 25, Rainbow Crash, still sitting on 6. Number 33, R2 Detonate, still sitting on 6. So at this point, we have 2 skaters on each team sitting on 6 penalties. A whole whack of them, though, are sitting on 5.
Yeah, and I got to say, the Boston penalty board really filling up here in the second half. Although they did have a few skaters in some trouble at the end of that first half as well. Just an update on her injury. The paramedics are over there. Robert is sitting up, talking to them there.
Here's your whiteboard. Now you can have a better look at it. Looking to see if we have any... we don't have any really fun acronyms happening at this point in the game.
But look at that. Beaver Mansbridge, the only skater in the game so far not to pick up a penalty, number 422 for the Bay Street Bruisers. Another clean game, for the most part, for the Bruisers Jammers.
Oh, definitely. And that, again, that was Dovachka in the previous game. This game so far, it's been Beaver Mansbridge. You're also seeing each team still retaining 2 timeouts. Each team still has an official review at their disposal.
We mentioned the next game coming up at 1 p.m. is the Rideau Valley Vixens versus the Boston Massacre. At 3 p.m., we will have the Bruisers back in action. They'll be taking on the Steel Beamers from Steel City Roller Derby. Should be a fascinating game. Those two faced off last year with the Bruisers coming away with the win, so the Beamers definitely looking for some revenge. And then our, I guess, primetime game for the final day of the 2015 Quad City Chaos. 5 p.m. simulcast on WFTDA TV, a Division I matchup between Toronto Roller Derby, currently ranked 28th, in the WFTDA, or 29th in the 28th in the WFTDA against the 29th ranked Steel City Steel Hurton.
And Robber is getting up. They're gonna give her a seat on the stretcher. She's got one of her skates off, so she may have something tweaked on a knee or an ankle on that side. But they are going to take her off in a stretcher. But she does appear to be smiling and talking. So hopefully this is not too serious. And of course we'll just wait for the medics to finish escorting her from the track, and then get back into position where they can have medics on hand before we can get going once again.
So it looks like they're going to lose Robert Blind for the remainder of this game. Slightly shorter bench now for the Bay Street Bruisers as we continue. Under 5 minutes to go, 177 to 149. The Bay Street Bruisers' perfect record at the Quad City Chaos is in jeopardy. They're on a 5-game winning streak here at this tournament. And they've won some big games against some big teams last year. Victories over Ohio Roller Girls Gang Green and Montreal Roller Derby's Sexpos were highlights of the year for the Bruisers. Just a step or two behind today against the Boston Bee Party.
Well, and as you said, they are in jeopardy right now at that perfect record. And on that note, I will say I will take penalty trouble for 200, Alex.
Yes.
If you can't have a really bad dad joke on a Sunday afternoon at the bunker, there's no point in being here.
All right, look at this. We've got a pivot line start for these two teams, but it looks like, oh no, the Bruisers are going to go all the way back, trying to create a no-pack. They do have a power start here with Devotchka on, and now trying to work some offense, open up an outside lane. Devotchka now trying to force her way through the middle of that 3-wall. Joss Whelan back on the track, full blocker crew for the Bruisers. Nice work in the penalty kill, but a nice inside-out sweep from Low Blow Palooza gets Devotchka out, lead jammer Bruisers.
Forearm penalty was picked up there by, looks like that was Koopa Troopa for Boston Bee Party.
Big collision on the second straightaway leaves one Bee Party blocker down.
Devotchka with the 5 spot for the Bruisers. They're going to want to do a couple more of those. Only 4 minutes plus left on the period clock.
There is a star now outside of the track. It looks like there's no jammer perhaps on the track for the Bee Party.
Yes, Rainbow Crash came out of the box, is back on the track. She was either trying she has it back in her hands. She went back and retrieved it. So a big opportunity here for Devotchka to keep scoring.
That was her first pass for Rainbow Crash, so 2 more points put on the board by Devotchka. 17 points now is the difference.
Yep.
Still
3.5 minutes.
Bruisers may want to start thinking about buying themselves some time. They still have 2 timeouts and an official review left, and they're going to run out of jams if they don't start working that clock a bit.
Yeah,
17 minutes to go.
Yeah, I was going to say the only danger with some of those timeouts right now is right now Boston is putting out Katrina Swierko, who has been one of their most deadly jammers in this game. Call a timeout after this one. She gets a bit of rest and can come right back for the next one.
True. And she is, though, off on a penalty, a back-blocking penalty picked up, and Lexicon is your lead jammer. Opportunity Bruisers now with 3 minutes to go. 17 points is the deficit. Power jam for the home team. Lexicon making quick work now. This pack on turn number 2 gets knocked to the track.
Yeah, taken down hard by Senora Slaughter, number 86, the pivot, and do believe
at least number 6 for Senor Slaughter, if not more. No, that is the 7th pickup for Senor Slaughter. Oh, no, sorry. So what? Picking up 7. Wow, penalties all over the board. So Bruisers blocker, so what, will be lost for the remainder of this game. Lexicon having a hard time picking up points on this second pass as the Boston defense has been outstanding once again on another great penalty kill. 5 more points, though. 10-0 run for Lexi. Bruisers within 7.
Lexi's going to go back for more, see if she can get any more points before she gets caught by Swierko.
It is a very fast pack now. Lexi looking at her box, does make her way through, calls it off. 4 points picked up for the Bruisers on the end of that one. Oh my, we've got ourselves a game once again. 3 points is the difference, 177 to 74.
Yep. A timeout is being called now by the Boston Bee Party.
Oh, that worked out probably well for both teams, I guess, at this juncture.
Well, I'm going to say for all three teams, because I'm seeing a bit of running around from the officials right now, too. Travis Sickle is running in over towards the penalty box area, waiting to see what's happening. We've got a couple of skaters standing behind the penalty box. I think we may have a couple of foul outs about to be taken care of. They got picked up in that previous jam.
Yeah, and Honey Boom Boom also looks like sitting on 7 penalties as well for the Bay Street Bruisers. So it looks like Bruisers is going to be down 2 blockers for the final few jams in this, what has been another extraordinary game here at the Quad City Chaos 2015.
Yep, so Boom and So What are being escorted to the change rooms. They have indeed fouled out of the game. 1:43 left on the clock. 3 points separating these two teams.
They were last tied at the 6-minute mark of the opening half, tied at 18. Since then, the B Party has led throughout.
And as we said before, that lead has expanded and contracted at times. We now are in an official review situation. Tucanale, the manager for the Bay Street Bruisers, is out at the center of the track. Looks like they've already communicated the subject of the review because the officials are already having their conversation, and we will relay that to you at home shortly. Deuce
Willis, the crew head ref for this crew, skates with the Hammer City Roller Girls, just down south of Toronto here.
Just down the QEW.
QEW. I almost said the 401.
You did. I was like, have you been to Hammer City before?
Yeah, that's why I stopped myself.
Right,
Bruisers pack is hugging, and you can see it's going to be LL Cool Jam out there to skate for the Boston Bee Party as their lead, which has always been tenuous now. Suddenly, has almost been erased. Very calm-looking bench from the Bruisers, but you can see the it's going to be Devotchka there with Joss Whelan, Low Blow Palooza, and Tushy Galore.
So the review that was called here by the Bruisers, and we don't have the verdict yet, but we've at least found out what the subject is. They were disputing the elbowing penalty that had been issued to Honey Boom Boom that led to her fouling out. So pending the results of this, they actually have brought her back to the penalty box area, standing behind the box. If the call on the track stands, they'll take her back to the change room. If they reverse the call, they'll put her back on the bench.
So some discussion. Yeah, penalty does stand as Honey Boom Boom is once again escorted away. It's almost like she fouled out of that game twice. So she is out of there now. 3-3 in the packs here. LL Cool Jam in the blue for the Boston Bee Party. That is Devotchka in the white for the Bay Street Bruisers. 3 points is the difference. 1:43 left to go. It's going to come down to this. The final few jams here, and Devotchka gets out and takes lead jammer status for the Bruisers.
1:35 on the period clock.
Oh, Low Blow Palooza with a huge hit on LL Cool Jam to slow down the Boston Jammer. And it looks like she's heading to the penalty box on a low block. Power jam for the Bruisers. Devotchka now hits that pack hard. She's getting called on a back block. Oh, chaos here in the waning moments.
Wow.
of this B-Team showdown.
And the crowd here is losing its mind. You may very well be losing yours at home.
Last jam now, officially, with no lead jammer.
So it's who's going to... So the Bruisers just need to outscore the B Party on this jam by 4 points. Right now, Devotchka has 5 already. LL Cool Jam completing a scoring... No, that was just her initial.
Pass.
That was her initial pass. Thank you, Derby Nerd. So
yep.
Devotchka now in the driver's seat. We've had the lead change so far. 35 seconds left on the period clock. LL Cool Jam coming up to the pack. Devotchka on her way through it.
Oh, and LL Cool Jam gets through as well, and she is called on a cut on the outside. Power jam once again for the Bruisers and Devotchka, as the Bruisers have taken their first lead of the game since the 6-minute mark of the opening half. There's going to be a helmet cover pass. Getcha Kicks is now your jammer.
10 seconds left in the game.
We will go to the jam clock after that, but time is running down. What a finish to this one. However it goes now. Getcha Kicks is through.
She puts up a 5 spot. Some of those points I think may have come from Davachka. They were in the helmet cover when they got handed to her. She completes the pass, completes that grand slam. And an illegal procedure to LL Cool Jam on the end of the jam. Wouldn't have made a difference, though, at that point. A 7-point lead for the Bruisers.
Wow.
What an epic comeback for the Bay Street Bruisers, who appeared to remain undefeated at Quad City Chaos. There were 3 points in the bin there for the B Party. Not enough. 180 is what we are seeing on the scoreboard, Derby Nerd.
What a comeback for the Bruisers in the final 5 minutes of that game. Another mistake made by the Boston Jammer. She re-entered again. She came back onto the track too early. She could have skated around the outside and re-entered in the second straightaway, but as you mentioned, it did not matter in the end. The Bruisers had already had enough on the board. Now make it 6 in a row.
And it's
for
in
the
the
Bay
books.
Street Bruisers.
It's in the books now, 184 to 180, Derby Nerd. And you're right, she did cut in way too early. We saw that happen to one of the B-Party Jammers earlier in this game. I think in this case, it was probably just a case of we have like seconds into teams left on the clock. I'm going to get back on the track as fast as humanly possible. Took the risk, didn't pay off, but again, wasn't going to be able to make that. Like, we have come so far with this tournament over the years. Again, the parity, remarkable. A 4-point differential here. This is the closest game for A teams or B teams we have ever had at Quad City Chaos.
Unbelievable performance from the Bruisers, just keeping it calm on the bench, staying close. That was the key. They were never down, as you mentioned. The lead was never really that much more than 20 points at any given time in the game. And the Bruisers just waited for the opportunity, had a couple power jams and a very messy final few jams, and were able to take advantage. That 14-0 jam by Lexicon that brought them back within 3 was just absolutely key.
And I gotta think that part of that official review that was being called by Tuke late in the game, yes, it would have been great to get his skater back from the dressing room, but I have to think that part of it was, you know what, we've just had that timeout. I'm going to extend it just a little bit more, get a little more juice back into my skaters so that we can bring this home in this final jam. Yeah,
whatever it was, it worked out well. The Bay Street Bruisers coming back from what seemed to be an end to their winning streak here at the Quad City Chaos, but wow, a ferocious final 5 minutes for the Bruisers allowed them to get back into this one. Bruisers up again at 3 p.m., where they'll be taking on the Steel Beamers, trying to recover from the emotions from this game to prepare for that one. A team they have a little bit of history with, but what a victory for the Bay Street Bruisers here in the day 2 of the 2015 Quad City Chaos. And there it is, your schedule for the rest of the day up on the screen. Please stay with us here at layer9.ca/QCC2015 to catch all of this phenomenal action. If that game wasn't enough to convince you to stick around, I've got nothing left for you.
No, I mean, I'm going to keep my clothes on because I do want people to stay. But that being said, I am done on the stream for the weekend. I'll be on house for the closing game of the weekend. I believe you're back here, though.
I'll be back here at 5 p.m. for the simulcast game with WFTDA.tv, the Steel Hurton versus the CN Power. So I'll be back for that one.
All right. Well, I'm going to say farewell. I've been Mr. Whistler.
And I am, as usual, the Derby Nerd. And you've been watching Quad City Chaos 2015 live on layer9.ca.